Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Let's talk about your DOD ID card as a veteran. How can you obtain it, and why would you want one? There's a lot of information about this. I wanted to share it with you here today and kind of talk through what has transpired over the last, 5 years or so with regard to accessing bases, that type of stuff, especially for those that are not retired. So with that, let's jump into it. First, before we do, I want to do a special thanks to Carolyn Horn, Horn, dash C3 or CJ3HU. Don't know if that's anything specific, but Carolyn Horn, thank you so much for that super comment. I really do appreciate your support. Thank you very much. I really do. Carolyn Horn dash CJ3HU. All right, so let's jump into this topic. The DOD ID card. Okay, so you've been out for however long, and you relinquished maybe your military ID, or maybe you didn't, but it's expired now, so who cares? So would it be nice to have a DOD ID card again? The short answer, I think, is yes, for a multitude of reasons. If you live far away from a base or anything like that, well, maybe then it's not that advantageous. However, it is another nice secondary government-issued ID card for you, which you never know. Sometimes you need to have a couple different forms, and the VA ID card, quite frankly, is just kind of okay. So the DOD card is pretty nice, and in order to get onto bases, the rules have changed over the last, I don't remember when it went into effect, about 5-6 years ago now. It used to be only 100% disabled veterans could get onto base with their DOD ID card. Well, now anybody can get on base if you have your VA service-connected disability ID card. So as long as you're a service-connected disability veteran, you should be able to get on various bases to utilize their commissary, PX, MWR, that type of stuff for your convenience, right? Maybe the gas station's 20 cents cheaper than the one in town. Everybody's different. So it could be something that you'd want to utilize. However, the drawback is if you're married or you have, children that are old enough, your dependent children, to drive themselves, well, your spouse and your dependent children are not going to be able to get on base without you unless you have a DOD ID card. Then your spouse can get one and your dependent children can also receive one. So then you're not being roped into, I got to take everybody to the base all the time. They can go themselves. So that is a huge benefit. I just personally like having a DOD ID card. I feel like it's just got a little more oomph to it, I guess. It looks essentially the same as a retiree's ID card. The only difference is instead of talking about being retired, it talks about you being a 100% service-connected veteran. So let's jump into this on the militarywallet.com, and they talk about it here. This article came out not that long ago. It came out here in 2024 in April, and so I'll just read through this. So how to get or renew your military ID card. Now, what I did was I just got my paperwork from the VA that said that I was 100% rated at the time. I wasn't even permanent in total at that point. And what I did was I took that paperwork that said that I was 100% rated, and I made an ID card appointment through, I think I went through Deers or something, and just, however, I'll have to look. And I just typed in ID card, military ID card through Deers, and then ended up finding this place, and I ended up scheduling it. So then I showed up with that paperwork with my regular ID card, and then I got that one done. So moving on, let's jump into it. How to get or renew a military ID card. Military ID cards are available to current service members, retirees, 100% disabled veterans, and their dependents. And again, that is the big part, I think, of this. There are also veteran ID cards from the VA. Learn how to replace your military ID card. All right, so if you haven't done so, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. I really do appreciate all of you members. You can go to the homepage. You'll see highlighted members there and a join button. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. A military identification card can unlock various valuable benefits, including health care through TRICARE, education benefits, and access to base facilities such as the commissary, base exchange, or post exchange, right? Because there's the PX. Morale, welfare, and recreation, which is the MWR centers, and other support agencies. In this article, we will cover who is eligible for a military ID, the forms of military IDs available, alternative methods of proof of military service, and how to renew your military or dependent ID card. Who is eligible? There's a little section here. We'll just read through it. All right, so it says, who is eligible? Unfortunately, getting a military ID card isn't always as easy as walking onto your local military installation and requesting one. Only certain individuals are eligible to receive a military ID card. You must be in the DEAR system to receive a new military ID card. This includes the service member sponsor and eligible dependents entered into DEARs by the sponsor. You, the veteran or military member, would be the sponsor, right? You are usually eligible to receive a military ID if you currently serve in the military, active duty, guard, reserve, or inactive ready reserves, or are a military retiree. Qualified dependents are eligible for military dependent ID cards as well. Military ID card types. The U.S. Department of Defense issues two main types of identification. The common access cards, which if you've been out for a while, so I was in the Marine Corps 93 to 97. I did 4 years. Then I was out and had a break in service, 12 years. Then I joined the Army National Guard, and I did another 6 years with the Army Guard. And that was 2009 to 2015. So the ID card that I had in the Marine Corps was that paper ID card with your picture in the middle, right? Most of you, that's what you had, laminated, and that was it. Then, when I went to the Army Guard, I ended up getting a common access card, a CAC card. And that is a horizontal card with your picture on it with a little computer chip in it, so you can, basically, it's your credentials, right? So you can stick that into a reader that reads that it's you. You punch in your code, and then you can sign documents, that type of stuff, log into things, and so forth. So common access card is one type, and then the other is what they call a next generation uniformed services ID card. And that is the one that we're actually talking about with for 100% disabled veterans as a DOD card, and then same for their dependents. So it breaks down each type of card type here. Common access cards, I'm going to skip pretty much most of it, but basically the common access card, or CAC card, is the primary ID for all active duty service members and active reserve and guard members. In some cases, it may also be issued to DOD civilian employees and contractors. The CAC allows access to military installations, buildings, and secured networks. It also documents your affiliation with the DOD and provides access to military services, benefits, and programs. There are 4 different types of common access cards. The type of CAC you receive depends on your affiliation with the DOD or federal agency authorizing your request for a military ID card, which is basically, I had my regular CAC for my Army National Guard, and then I also was a contractor for the State Military Department, and then I had a contractor CAC card for the Army as well. Now I'm going to skip over all the other stuff on that, and let's move over to Next Generation Uniform Services ID card. The Next Generation U.S. Uniform Services ID card was introduced in 2020 and is printed on plastic card stock, unlike the paper-based legacy ID cards. It features an updated design and security upgrades to prevent counterfeiting and fraud. So it's a nice, it's legit, hard plastic, good quality ID card. Uniform Services identification cards are typically issued to military retirees, including gray area retirees, individual ready reserve members, dependent family members of uniformed service members, and others who may be eligible for certain military benefits. Some examples include Medal of Honor recipients, veterans who are eligible for transitional health care member program, and 100% disabled veterans. Military dependents may include, but are not limited to, a lawful spouse, an unremarried surviving spouse, unmarried children, including adopted or stepchildren who are under 21 years of age, over 21 but incapable of self-support, over 21 but under 23 who are attending an approved learning institution as a full-time student. There are additional eligibility rules for former spouses, dependent parents, in-laws, and certain other cases. Contact your card issuing service for additional information. Next generation US ID cards are divided into 3 types of cards, each with unique eligibility criteria. But again, remember that 100% disabled veterans is on that list. What is on the military ID cards? Military ID cards include the member's name, affiliation, agency, department, branch of service, expiration date, rank, date of birth, DOD ID number, benefits number, and additional information found on the barcode, chip, or magnetic strip. For 100% disabled veterans, there's no chip. It's just going to be the barcode. The DOD phased out the use of Social Security numbers on military ID cards and retiree ID cards starting in 2009. The DOD ID number is now the primary identifier. How to get your military ID? Military ID cards are available through real-time automated personnel identification systems. Rapids, that's where I went. Rapids, the Rapids site. RAPIDS site. Rapids sites are located on military installations, National Guard armories, and reserve training locations. There's a hyperlink in here. I'll see if I can get it in there. Rapids appointment scheduler user guide to navigate the site and set up your ID card appointment. You can do it all online. If you're a dependent, you must provide a completed DD form 1172-2 signed by your sponsor, the veteran. Documents needed for military ID cards. Applicants must provide at least 2 current and original forms of identification from the list below, and at least one must be from the primary identity source document list, and you can use one form of ID from the secondary identification list documents documented below. So this would be things like your passport, driver's license, another military ID card, a military dependent ID card, permanent resident card, foreign passport, employment authorization document with a photo, a PIV card, a personal identity verification card. A secondary list would be things like your Social Security card, birth certificate, ID card issued by federal, state, or local government, voter registration card, Coast Guard, Merchant Marine card, certificate of citizenship, and so forth. The list goes on and on. So with that, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.